Hey YouTube, this is Sean with Griffin RC Planes. Today is Saturday and we're going to continue on with our Tower Hobbies Uproar ARF build. Previously we glued in the horizontal and vertical stabilizers, we glued in the hinges for the ailerons, and did a little bit of trimming on the side of the fuselage for where the wing joiners go. But let's see what's up next in our instruction manual. Maybe we won't rearrange it too much. Sit tight, here we go. Alright there YouTube, this is about part 2.5 or so, 3 on our Uproar version 2 ARF build. Last episode we glued in the horizontal and vertical, I guess stabilizers or wing or whatever. Now we're gonna put the control surfaces on with the hinges, just like we did the wings when we hinged the ailerons with the wicking hinges that you use CA glue on. So I think we've got 3 hinges per side here. That's the rudder. 1, 2, 3, and that's not the rudder, that's the rudder. I've done this before, I promise. So that goes about like that. I've got a stand somewhere. Kind of hard to see with this being this thing's white like that. Gonna go like so, and then we're gonna hinge these two in place. And then rudder. Yep, that's the rudder. And then we're gonna do the rudder. So we'll need some CA glue, some rubbing alcohol, some paper towels, and an X-Acto knife. And this will not take long at all. Alrighty, so we got our alcohol topped off. We've got our CA glue. It says medium, but there's thin in this bottle. People can make a lot of money selling empty bottles, because what happens is the glue just starts to grow and grow and grow and grow, and eventually these tops are no good. You've got to slide on one of these little applicators here, a little mini funnel, and the part that you slide it onto just gets so bad with dried up glue that eventually the bottle and the lid and stuff becomes trash. So I needed thin, and the bottle was no good, but the bottle was good for the medium, so we just did a little swapperoo. I'm gonna set that to the side so we don't spill it. But we're gonna dry fit things real quick before we do any kind of gluing. So we got our plane here. Each control surface takes 3 hinges. You can see how they're already pre-slotted. I did not do that, and the hinges were in here at one time, but you want to make sure they're, the slots are good. Like that one's not going in any farther, and it needs to go to where half is in. You know what I mean? Is there trash in there? Is it just not cleaned out all the way? So you can kind of get a feel with the, I don't know if that missing hinge is in there or what. Tell you what we can do, we can check one of the other ones. See the depth on it. See it? Going in a whole lot more. Going in way too far. So this one's either got just not deep enough, or it's got something stuck in it. I don't know. But we're just going to make it deep enough. We're just going to gently whittle some wood here. See, I'm using my finger as a depth gauge. That's a good habit to get into. It gives you more control. You know, because this thing could easily go on an angle. It slides out the back. It'll prick yourself. You know, there's just no telling. So that's a good little habit I use. Getting a little closer there. I'll tell you what, if this is the only hiccup that we found with this plane, that's awesome. I mean, the back half of this thing was nearly perfect. I mean, we didn't really do anything to it, and it came out square as can be. All right. Don't want to make it too big while we're chomping away at it. I sure feel like I'm cutting down to China, but it's not going any deeper. Unless it's on an angle or something. So I'm coming in about that far. That's plenty. Unless this hinge is just that much wider than the blade, but no, we got it now. We're at the halfway mark. Then, since we'll make this one this side, we'll check these depths here. Plenty, plenty, and plenty. I forgot the pins. Hang tight. I get the pins. These are called T-pins. Some people don't use them. I've put these together with and without them, but I don't do this enough, so it'd be better safer than sorry, you know. But the idea of the pin is not let the hinge fall into the control surface or to go deeper in one direction or another. So some people use two, but we're just gonna use one in each of them, and we're just gonna stick them in the slot anywhere for right now. We'll line them up here shortly. Put the pin roughly in the center. If you're off a little bit, no biggie, not the end of the world. Oh, you got your pin not in the middle. That's it. You can't do it no more. No, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Let's just striving for perfection. I mean, heck, I couldn't even read the dang ruler a minute ago. So, all right, so we'll just do one like that, and then we'll get the other tail camera going. Let's see if we get our stand over here. All right. And then looking at it this way, we can kind of get an idea where the hinges need to be. It's adjustable on all sides there. This one needs to go that way. This one needs to go that way. And then let's just dry fit it and see what happens. So there's the T-pins, that's one of the reasons for having them right there. Why is this bugger going crooked? We might use two of them. If you use two, it's a whole lot easier than the other. That wouldn't go crooked. Let's do that just for grins. My theory about using two is the more holes you poke in this thing, the less of a hinge you got, you know? Because the hole doesn't heal. You know, I don't know how many T-pin holes it would take to cut one of these in half. But I'm sure less than 50 or something would cut it in half. You know, so look there. Where these two pins are, we don't have a hinge anymore. So that's the downfall of the double hinges. We'll leave that other one out for a minute. You know, I'm sure the glue does something with the hole, but so. We'll put this one in there as well. This might be our problem, and we might need to check the other elevator. Let's do that real quick. Now, what the problem is right here. It's not cut far enough coming here to our left. So there, it was, but there was something in the way of it. Like I skipped right over it. Let's try this again. Much better. Just need to get this one straight right here. Oh, come on. Now it's back in business. All right, fairly straight. See how the hinges are straight, they're straight, and they're straight. And we know they're in the middle because we put the pin in the middle. Excuse me. And now what we want is to get this edge right over here, right on the money, straight. Let's see if we can do that for a minute. You know, as I glue it, I'll be holding it, but we've got it pretty dang good right there. And we'll take it off the stand for a second. And I'll take this bottom hatch off. Now it'll sit flat. Yeah, the directions said, I believe they mentioned the landing gear and the tail wheel. I'm like, no. We don't want all that crud in our way while we're trying to do this, you know. But if you didn't have a plane stand, sometimes the landing gear is good to do first. So it's just people's preference, whatever you want to do. There's no right or wrong way to how to put together each section. I mean, some of the sections you have to do in order, or you might mess yourself up. But if you want to do this before the wings, you know, whatever floats your boat. All right, so I like that. And we know their hinges are straight. We know they're centered because of the pins. And now we just need to put the CA glue. And then I'm going to hold this edge here to where I know it doesn't slide over to one side or the other. And I've got the CA glue with a little applicator, a little mini funnel. And we're just going to drip this glue right down on top of this hinge here, and it's just going to soak it up. I did a little short video the other day on how the CA wicking hinges work, and you got to check that out. But these things soak up the glue just like a candle wick, and that's why they're called wicking hinges. I didn't believe it when I first got into this, but I mean, they're stronger than some metal hinges. I mean, it's unreal. I think they're made out of like a fiberglass cloth or something like that. Tell you what we're going to do. We're going to pull the pins out and then just don't bump it. We don't want to push it in no more. And we're just going to run this right down in there. Hopefully you guys can see this real good. And you can tell when it's getting the glue on it because the hinge starts to change colors as it's soaking it up. And put plenty of it on there. And And then you want to do it to the other side as well. We're checking our, we're still golden with that. Here's a fairly straight edge, just to verify. Oh yeah, we're good. I'll try to work these pins out without not doing much damage. There, that one and that one. And we'll push this one up, make sure it's tight without not pushed up on the left side here and didn't disturb the right. So now we're just going to run this glue. And don't worry if you get it on the covering or something, it's okay. First time you go to flex this, the glue will crack away from where it doesn't need to be. And then I'm just going to pull this pin out without making any more movement over here. And we just get this one here. And then the other side, of course. We want to get plenty of it on there. You don't think you're doing much, but yeah, you're doing something. It's soaking into the hinge, and then it's soaking into the wood. And you will break this wood before you pull these hinges out, and that's a guarantee. That's right. In my opinion, more glue is better than not enough glue. We'll flip it over and do this other side. I've got to use both hands, kind of steady it. Kind of lay the little applicator mini funnel kind of on the hinge, you know. I'm not going to stick my finger, but so it's kind of riding down it. All right, that's that. 5 minutes from now, it'll be unreal how strong that is. All right, I'm going to do the other one here on this other camera. All right, I'll be able to show you guys kind of in real time how long it takes to do one of these. We'll use double T-pins. That depth is good. Need some kind of a cork board or something to use the T-pins, that way you can just stab the hinge in like that. But it's working. Did anybody go flying this weekend? Today's Saturday evening. I haven't been yet. It's too dang cold. Tomorrow might be another story. All right, we're feeling the inside of that one and the inside of this one was goofed up. Yeah, it's really got some, almost like it's got glue or something in there. It might have glue. I mean, there's a couple pieces of wood to put together. All right, then. That one. this one's not exactly as straight. The T-pins aren't exact, and so that was my fault. But when I flipped it around the other way, looks like that took care of our little problemo. All right, so the T-pins hold the distance apart. I also know, so that it can hinge back and forth. I'm straight over here. Just like last time, I'm going to take the pins out. So we'll just double, triple check, verify again. One, two. With these magnifying glasses, I can really be more precise and get it in there where it needs to go. All right, that one and that one. Pushed in on that one more time just to make sure it's in all the way. And then there's that one and that one. All right, then there's that. And we'll get our stand out again. Probably shouldn't let it flop around like that, but I did. And then I'm gonna put plenty of it, and I'm gonna run back down the other side too and make sure it's got enough. What the heck? Put some down here too. All right. The more the merrier. A couple more drops to the party over here. I won't disturb that. When we flip it over, I'll run one more line of glue down, but oops. In the instruction manual it says we need to cut this slot right here. So I figured we'll look at that real quick. Kind of get an idea. Probably should have done that before we put these in. But the slot is back there, but the covering is over it. And there's the slot. All right. It's in there somewhere.
see. Not quite big enough. We'll get it there. Something hard right there. So, well, what I'm feeling is some real hardwood if I go any higher than this, which we're running out of meat, you know. And then down here, I'm feeling the same. So, I think we'll just trim the hinge. Alright guys, I went ahead and got things ready for the rudder. But take note, where we had to free up the slot down here at the bottom for the rudder, I ended up having to cut the hinge to make it a lot thinner because I was just running out of wood to cut. If I kept making the slot big enough, there just wasn't going to be much on either side. So I kept cutting and cutting and cutting, and it got so thin that I just wasn't going to have a whole lot of hinge left. So I had some of these hinges that do not have the slot in them, and I cut that one, and that's what I ended up using down there. I'll give you a little close up here.
I take note of this bottom hinge. The directions say you have to cut out the slot here. The slot was in there, but the covering was covering it, and then the slot was kind of halfway there. But the full size hinge is this wide, and when I was, sawing away, I was just running out of material left. By the time I made it big enough, it was just going to be a little bit down here and a little bit up here. So then I decided to cut the hinge. Well, I had to cut it so thin that, including this, gap in the middle, there wasn't going to be a whole lot left. So I had some hinges that don't have a slot in the middle, and that's what I cut to come up with the right width for the bottom of the rudder here. So keep that in mind when you're building yours. And now let's glue this rudder in. Maybe we can get it together down here like this, or maybe we'll have to put it in the stand. I don't know yet. Like maybe drop down a little bit. There we go. I'm going to put it in the stand so we can get it lined up better and get it centered and right on the moolah. I want to get the top or straight edge here. This is what you're after. And you want the space on down it to be as near perfect as you can get it. Because if it's a big gap at the top and not the bottom, now your rudder is going to be making your your plane have an alignment problem like your car. That's what I was going to say, something like that. So I'm going to leave these pins in here for this one, for the first go round of glue. That way I can push it in and keep it keep it square. So let's get a little glue on the top here. Glasses are on. Let's just try to get some just a little bit. Probably do a little bit. And just gently just pressed in on it just to make sure it was there. Then I'm putting a little pressure on the bottom down here, trying to hold it in. I'm gonna let that dry just a second, and then we'll pull the pins out and really really glue it. Gently twist them back and forth, or whatever you got to do to get them out nice. You can feel it how they're going to come out, and these might be a little stuck because of glue, so we'll twist them guys. Alright. Almost glued my finger there. So we'll put some more on this hinge here. There's that one. And you can see how this little applicator tip kind of runs down it. You know, it's kind of laying on top of it. Then you can see it changing colors there as it's getting wet, and taking the glue. I just got some glue on there, and you guys probably can't see that drop, but I did get a little bit. If you can be quick, it's right there. If you can be quick, you can get it. We got lucky and got that one. A lot of the other times I'm not all that lucky.
Well, that's all in this episode. We got both elevators glued in, plus our rudder. Everything's looking good. Don't forget we had to cut that one hinge, right? Don't throw that away. You might need that one day. So I've got my hinge kit, labeled hinges. Hang on to them. All right, until next time, you'll see me here. Please like and subscribe. Thank you.